with our dear colleague, Mr. Gunjan Shah from Bata. Hello, yeah. Yeah, so always there is a saying that ladies first, but this time I'm going to reverse it, you know. The ladies last, let's say, because this time we are going to experience the last person who has also scored, you know, a sixer and has built a unique, powerful brand, that is Baggett. But we'll start with Bata, and I would request our team to put up the Bata slide, please. Okay. In the meantime, I would request Gunjan to, you know, give a brief introduction about the current operations for Bata. Gunjan, over to you, please.
The current, want me to give?
Yeah, the current operations.
Read out the same numbers?
Yeah, it can be.
So I don't think I need to say too much. The numbers are pretty self-evident. It's obviously Bata has got a very long history of association with the market and the consumer in India. It got established almost something like 90 years back. So, how do you say, a little older than Baggett, right? And it has kept itself relevant, it has kept itself rejuvenated across decades. There are, you know, when I was thinking, I was discussing with someone over a drink one day, and we were trying to understand how many brands, right, last for a century, right, across 7, 8, 10 decades. And there are very few, right? Between me, who has worked for almost 25 years in consumer business, and the person that I was with, right, there was a combined 45, 50 years together, and we couldn't count more than 10, right? So, so there is something that keeps it alive, and I think the key part is what the agenda is today, right? Which is making sure that you are having a connect with the consumer and therefore a relevant value proposition of the brand. With that, I will give it back, Hitesh. I don't think the numbers need to be read.
Sure. So this was the introductory slide for all of you to know the current operations for Bata. Now I will go to another brand, and that brand is Super Savannah Stores. Like Bata, we don't have a slide for Super Savannah Stores, but what I'm going to read out is, you know, somewhat similar to what we have been doing. How many of you have heard about Super Savannah Stores, except from people in South? Okay, and it's so pretty much many of you have heard about it. But you know, today, if you look at the panel composition, we have got Super Savannah Stores as something who has been represented from a family business perspective. Now they have got 5 stores in 2 cities, that is Chennai and Madurai. They have got 5,000 plus employees, and each store is between 1 to 1.5 lakh square feet. Okay, that is the average size of a store, and on an average 8 to 10 floors. So this is a normal scale of a Super Savannah store. And the recent one, are you aware the biggest store in India? Which one is that? The biggest standalone store in India, Madurai, right? And that is the Super Savannah store, which is the biggest store in India with 6 lakh square feet. And this is what a brand from South, from Chennai, which started around 50, 60 years back, who started with around 700 square feet, and today they have reached to 6 lakh outlets, 6 lakh square feet store, a single store, which would be around 10 to 12 stories. And Bala is here with us, and he'll share some light on that. And they cater close to around 1.5 crore families annually, not customers, families. So you can multiply it into 3 or 4 or whatever the number is. But on an average, 1.5 crore families are catered by this brand from Chennai. And this is without taking the new store that has been the Madurai store. So with this, Bala, I would like to just give a short introduction about Super Savannah stores, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. We have learned a lot from forums like this. I take this opportunity to thank Biju sir, Kumar sir, and Dr. Hitesh, and all the industry leaders who have assembled here, and all the industry learners and the media who's present here. Above all, the journey started with a 720 square feet in Ranganathan Street, a street which is between a railway station and a bus depot. That's where the journey begins, and the first set of categories vessels. That point of time, 53 years back, vessels is an important core category which people used to pay by chit, and they will come, bargain and buy and go. We found it very difficult to manage the bargaining system, so we went into a fixed price system. From that particular model, again to showcasing from behind the desk, it was getting difficult. So again we made it customer friendly, as in they can self-service format. If you say from there till now around 33 categories, be it groceries, fruits and vegetables, clothing, home appliances to jewelry. Every category if you see, it is more for the ease of customer, and we are slowly moving from a self-service format to a service-oriented format. This is where we stand, and this entire unification and the growth is purely driven by, let's say there is one single common language which is unity of the workforce. The workforce is not, let's say, it's like family. The Mr. Rajaratnam Mannachi and Sabanna and the entire team, we are all like family, and we work together and we celebrate together. This is where this journey has made it possible. Every team member has contributed, and every team member has made it possible for us to be where we are today.
So nice of you, Bala, to give the whole credit to the employees, and the word that Bala has used is unity. And he also used team building. So I think the core for any family managed business at the management level is unity, and also to ensure that all their employees also are united enough to drive this brand. Because what Bala is speaking about is, if this is the scale of an organization and one store, and in between 5 stores they are employing 5,000 employees, look at the kind of growth, look at the kind of numbers and profitability that they have. Can't happen without unity. So thanks for this, Bala. We'll come to you again. And now we'll go to Nina and Baggett. The numbers are for you to see on the screen for Baggett. So Baggett has close to 1,000 plus outlets, 36 COCO stores, 43 franchise stores, and 900 plus MBOs. Present over 100 cities, 25 states, 175 crores revenues, and plus 1,000 plus employees, and 3 million customers. Fantastic achievement, Nina. And all this is done by the founder, Nina. And my first question to you is, you call yourself as an accidental entrepreneur. Why so, Nina?
Yeah, so it's a very interesting story. I was always very fond of art, craft and stuff, and I said, school के बाद कहाँ जाऊँ? So I went to college, art college. और first year में fail हो गई. तो I said, अरे art college में भी fail हो गया, अभी क्या करे बंदा? It's not like a CA exam. Anyway, so next year they said, अभी 1 साल के बाद आना, because there's no place in the classroom. So I said, okay, what do? I did some part-time courses in that same college, and I gave the exam next year, and I got a state art award. And then I really realized what the whole educational institutes are for. I had gone there for time pass, for college hai, masti hai, and I realized that it's a mix of both. You need to do a little bit of the academic and stuff like that. But coming back to, because I had flunked that year, I already started making handbags because I had very low self-worth. I was like, fail ho gayi? I'm not a duffer. How can I fail? I was always teacher's chamchi. I was always, in the first few outstanding, the first 10 students at least. How could I fail? And then I just had to do something to prove that, I'm not a failure. And I started making handbags, started screen printing, and then it goes on, and somehow I became an entrepreneur, and today we have so many beautiful stores and so many customers loving our products.
Awesome, Nina. You are the biggest success, look at, you're present in 100 cities and 1,000 plus retail outlets, and look at the turnover. So I think hats off to you, Nina. So everything, every good thing has a beginning, and maybe that may be the trigger that happened, and you started. One more thing, that she started with 7,000 rupees taking from her mother, and now they have reached to around 175 crores as their revenue. So hats off to you, Nina. So what we will do is we'll play a short video for. We'll start with Bata, and we'll play a small 1 or 2 clippings, and then we'll ask Gunjan about the current positioning of these brands and how he's taking the brand to the next level. So can we have the initial videos of Bata, please?
जैसे वैसे हम हैं बेफिक्रे उड़ चले हम झूम चले हम Live limitless with the new sneaker studio at Bata. 300 styles, 9 brands.
जिम में हो 24/7 रफ्तार भी, हर मौके के लिए हो तैयार भी.
Action scene हो या talk show, shoes change? No way.
It's gotta be Bata.
The new Bata 24/7 casual collection. Great styles that you can wear anywhere.
It's got to be Bata. जब घर में मिलके धूम मचाना हो और बाहर भी हटके नजर आना हो, ऐसे जश्न के लिए it's gotta be Bata.
The new Bata 24/7 casual collection. Great styles that you can wear anywhere.
It's got to be Bata.
Thanks. So Gunjan, my question here is, we can see a very refreshing, the ads are very refreshing with the new brand ambassador and how you have taken it. So what made you? What is the new positioning? Because if you look at people like us, all of us in this room must have worn a Bata in our life, right? Everybody. So this is the success of that. But we have seen the communication, and it is extremely appealing. So what was the genesis behind this, Gunjan?
Thanks, Hitesh. I hope you all liked it, by the way, some of the clips. I hope some of you all have hopefully seen them also. Otherwise, I'll have to question what the media team is doing. Yeah, so Hitesh, it's a journey, right? It's not something that has just happened in the last, last year or so. While some of these campaigns might have run in the last 18 months, right? But it's a journey from a positioning as well as a value proposition, right? And, I've got this feedback when we do consumer groups, when we meet colleagues, right? People in the industry, many people like this in these forums, etc., right? And you get a couple of things, right? I think this entire genesis, so I'll talk about 2-3 examples, right? One is the piece which is to do with, let's say, the Bata itself, right? So we didn't play the Hush Puppies piece, which is something that we ran, right? Okay, so I have pulled something out of his sequence, right? So sorry for that. But coming back, so I think the genesis of this starts from...
You can play that also and close.
No, it's okay. Whatever you say, right? So let's say about 6, 7, 8 years back, right? I think when we did consumer research, etc., right? You saw very clearly that while Bata stood for trust, it stood for comfort, it stood for value for money, right? It also was not necessarily standing and definitely not differentiated on style and fashion, right? And that was categorical feedback that you got from consumers, right? And not too far back, less than 10 years back, right? And that warranted a relook within ourselves, how we run as an organization. So what you see out here is just the tip of the iceberg, right? There is a whole iceberg that goes behind crafting a value proposition. And just in this example, while I can talk about the sneaker piece or the Hush Puppies piece also, but in this example itself, what it meant was that we had to change our entire design and collection process, which will then throw out new collection literally every month. We actually ran a campaign within this at some point in time, which was saying fresh collection every month or every Friday or something on those lines, right? So the entire machinery of the company had to change so that you could churn out new styles and new fashions every at a certain frequency. You had to bring in more trendiness, you had to bring in a lot more design quotient, so that kind of manpower, the capability that is required, the mindset that is required, some of it with from outside, right? But we had to challenge status quo at multiple levels. We also then backed it up that it was not only the product, while the product is at the heart of any brand, right? We backed it up with refreshing our stores. So we've got, as you saw, something like 1700 stores now, but at that point in time we had about 1200 stores. And we refreshed, now have refreshed and invested something like 300 to 400 crores over the last 5-6 years, which is investing being refreshing almost 700 to 800 of these stores across, right? Depending on certain criteria that we have. Giving it a completely relook, got a design agency to tell us how we want those stores to look like, what kind of furniture fit outs that we need, and obviously chunking stuff that are not relevant in our stores right now. That then backed with obviously training the sales staff, making sure that you've got, then you are then talking about, then making sure that then you back it up with communication. So this is the tip of the iceberg, right? And then you got to do celebrity endorsements to make sure that you build some credibility in terms of fashion and youth, etc., that you are targeting towards. What this resulted towards, right, is that over 2000 to 2010 roughly, we moved from 500 to 1000 crores over 10 years. 2010 to 2020 broadly we moved from 1000 to 3000 crores. So hopefully the future is even more bright, right?
Absolutely.
As we got to hear, the Indian consumer is only upgrading, and there's a lot more that is going to come along, right? So that's just one example, but similarly the sneakers piece, similarly the Hush Puppies, Hitesh.
Let's play the Hush Puppy video also, what Gunjan said in the meantime. So exactly, I totally agree with Gunjan. This ad is just the tip of the iceberg and wants to communicate with the audience. We'll come to your segment also, and you know how
Hush Puppies presents Neo Casuals for Neo Leaders. Leadership today is also about leading the fun. Introducing Neo Casuals from Hush Puppies. Neo Casuals for Neo Leaders.
So Gunjan, since we are here, and this is a nice cute ad of Hush Puppies, how do you differentiate and position these brands? You know, because we saw the initial two sneakers things, the video. Hush Puppy obviously is positioned at a different level, but cannibalization doesn't happen at your end.
So it all depends on, so now this is like a marketing course question, but this all depends on basically how sharply you have differentiated your positioning for each one of them.
Yeah.
Right. And if you are making sure that you have got the demarcation very clear, it is always good for a brand that you are able to make it demarcated. There is still some journey left in many of these that we still need to do. But yes, you can minimize it, make sure that the connection with the consumer and the message to the consumer is very sharp. The chances of it registering are a little better, right? Whatever you say, whatever we are saying right now, right? Only 2% is going to stay outside this hall, right? Or maybe outside tomorrow evening or tomorrow morning, right? So your chances of getting through to a consumer in the clutter of kind of triggers and the stimuluses that the consumer sees nowadays across so many mediums and so many other things, it has to be as sharp as you can be. And this one was a classic case. It's the first campaign that we ever ran in Hush Puppies in India, right? The brand has become pretty large. It's synonymous with, you know, premium, corporate, as well as basically, you know, style. And the reason that we chose to drive this entire thing of neo casuals for neo leaders was that we wanted, while we knew that we were strong in a certain segment, we wanted to make sure that we move towards the neo leaders driven by startups, the younger professionals, etc. And they don't necessarily need only the corporate kind of shoes. And therefore, those styles that are coming along with it, the messaging that we are giving of the kind of leadership that we want, and implicitly, we are also wanting Hush Puppies to get associated with leadership. So that's the emotional connection that we are trying to drive.
Exactly. Leadership synonymous with Hush Puppies. And that's what it is. Well said and articulated, Gunjan. Now we will go, my next question is to Bala, and this is it. Super Sarvana stores, you know, what makes it so unique? Or this session is about the unique value proposition. So I'm asking a very simple question, but it's like Gunjan said, this is nothing but the tip of the iceberg. He spoke about so many things that goes behind, you know, this is just the communication part. But I just wanted to show that to you. Can we play the Super Sarvana video, please, if that is possible? And then we'll ask Bala that what makes Super Sarvana stores so unique.
Sarvana stores.
So to, nice. Just to, you know, many times we compare, we don't get the size of the stores, etc. So, you know, we were discussing and we asked that is it as big as a DMart, you know, just to keep a benchmark because that comes. So Bala answered something, you know, is the store as big as a DMart or this?
I was asking, you know, is this as big as a DMart?
The answer was one of the floor would be.
One floor is as big as DMart. Okay. Now, so that's it. So what makes Super Sarvana store so unique, Bala?
The journey, as I said, began with the 720 square feet. Looking at the high streets of Bombay, looking at the retail giants spread at that point of time. We had Spencer Plaza, India's first mall in Chennai, and we had Whiteway, Laidlaw and Co., which was at that point of time probably having 40, 50 stores, chain stores across India, operating out of Calcutta. So there were lots of situations we were aspiring to, but we had only 720 square feet, and we had customers coming, and there were a new street which was beginning. The biggest thing is, when we recollect a postman coming into our home, carrying an interview letter saying, "Beta, तेरे को job मिल गया, beta तू pass हो गया." There was a situation at that point of time, and he used to say, "You can apply for this. There is this particular option which the next door somebody is applying. He will be probably giving some guidance and go." Likewise, you walk into a bank, and there used to be somebody from the bank who would recognize you and talk to you and say, "You do this and you will get some this benefit." So there was this lots of personal connect used to be there at one point of time. Now every one of us have become a number. From being people, all of us have become number. This particular aspect is what we wanted to stay away from, and almost 70 to 75% of workforce, the team members, part of the family, are all from rural backgrounds, predominantly girls who are just probably completed or drop out from school or college, and then they come and stay with us for 2-3 years. They work, they probably build a house in 3 months salary, or they probably settle some of their loans, and then probably save for the wedding and then get married and go. Every 2-3 years the team keeps changing. Predominantly from tier 2, tier 3, जीतना है, बाहर आना है, एक स्टेप बाहर आ जाओ, लेकिन जीतना है, जिंदगी में जीतना है, वही चीज़ के लिए वो लोग सब बाहर आ रहे हैं. And this urge, maybe they are not so good in communication, but they tend to pick up from somebody who is on the job mentoring or training. And there is always the family member, one or the other, who is always on the ground. And except for these kind of forums, our job is to roll up the sleeves and get into the floor. So we are all connected and we learn from on the ground situations, and lots of ideas come from the floor. So it's straight away onto us, and we can experiment and try it out on the floor, do some test cases here and there, and get it implemented. Predominantly, it is what you said, having that emotional connect with the customer. That is what has tried to help us and relearn, adapt, continue, grow the categories, and increase the sizes of store, because the store size is not sufficient during a peak period. Car park kam pad raha hai, two-wheeler kam pad raha hai. So you have to increase the size. The size or the store format is purely dictated by the customer who is coming in. He or she is not expecting a great service. They know what they want. We say, don't push the customer to buy. There is no cross-selling, there is no upselling. You are not supposed to do that, because when they go back home, they should not think that, why did I buy this? Because somebody spoke to me so well? No, that feeling should not come, because that's how they are going to come back to you for life. So there are like...
Excellent.
You know, that's one of the reasons why I never go to buy the groceries, because I know मैं 10 चीजें और ले आऊंगी.
And we have seen many situations when the jewelry is being sold, har घर पे, you want to be attended by that particular associate, a boy or a girl, whom you know by name, and in that store, once you step in, you would be asking whether the person is there. अगर वो है तो हम शायद ज़्यादा भी खरीद लेंगे, और जो खरीदने के लिए नहीं गया वो भी खरीद के आएंगे, लेकिन you will not feel bad, because you know that person is not given an extra discount, but you trust him. There is an emotional connect. He has guided you. It's like the postman or the banker who at some point of time guided you at one point of our journey. This is the Indianness. Having worked with Kishorji directly and having worked with Landmark Group in the initial stages of my life, and having worked with many other corporates, there have been lots of learnings that we have. We are seeing many corporates coming in and MNCs coming in from across the globe. And there are good things to learn, but what we are trying to learn is making it mechanical, making it system oriented, and stay away from people. Our own people, we are not willing to listen, we are only seeing them as numbers. Systems बोलते हैं, लेकिन जो आदमी सिस्टम को तोड़ के रिजल्ट ले आता है, उसको नहीं सुनते हैं. अगर वो बोल रहा है, कुछ नया चीज़ बोल रहा है, उसको सुनने के लिए हम तैयार नहीं हैं. But this idea is coming from the floor. It is not the salesman or the sales girl or the front operations person who is bringing this idea. The idea is actually coming from a customer or somebody who has created an innovation, and they have tried to reach the owner, but they are not able to reach the owner, but they have tried to connect with one of the sales member, and they have tried to share that idea. He has actually sold that, ये आपको फायदा होगा, ये आपको use होगा. This emotional connect and the Indianness is, I think, is the reason.
Indianness, emotional connect, humanness, and not only the tech part of it. And that's what makes retail what retail is all about. And this is where a classic example of success, where the customer is trusting. Bala used the word trust, and that's what we all do. We'll buy extra without a discount from a person whom we trust. And that's what Sarvana Bhavan's, one of the unique value proposition is all about. Very well said, Bala. Nina, over to you, please. In the initial years, you did suffer a loss, in couple of EBOs that you had ventured into, but still you continued. Okay, and so what was the reason? And now you have got close to 80 odd profitable EBOs. So can you just tell me why you continued, and then what's the success for that profitability?
So the first time, actually I was running the factory for many, many years. So we are like 30 years plus. And I was for about 15 years running, and I was calling myself a karkhanedar. And I did this program which my husband teaches, and I had to write my vision over there. And when I wrote my vision, I said I want to have my own stores. It didn't look like a possibility to me because it looked like store, retail. I didn't know anything about all of that. But when I did my first store, it was very close to my house, and I was a nuclear family. I had a 1-year-old baby at that time, so I couldn't even think of going to a place that was far away. I knew somehow that wasn't going to be very profitable, and it turned out so because I thought it and I visioned that also. But the next few stores, they kind of balanced out, and then I had a 4th store again in which I was losing the entire profits of my whole company. It was so bad. And then someone was Delhi में था, someone saying, अरे litigation लगा दो उसके दुकान के बाहर है वो. I said नहीं ये हमारे तौर तरीके नहीं है. But I think the next few stores you keep learning, and I kept learning location, merchandise mix, like how we all spoke about, so many things, management, and I think we kept tweaking it and it got better and better.
And you had said no to private label also in the initial time. So what was the reason and why?
This is way long back.
Yeah. So what's the strategy behind that?
So Shoppers Stop and everyone was like telling us that, please give us goods at, private label. And that is really long back, you wouldn't even think of that. And it was very tempting, because it was 5 times the quantity. It is one SKU, bana do, khatam, janjat. But, I come from an entrepreneurship family, and my father, you learn basic things about dhanda, like business, ki, jo order dega, aaj dega, and then baad mein, he has no liability. He will not necessarily give you an order when you really want consistency in the factory. So I never went for that. And somewhere maybe I think at the back of my mind, I had this feeling that brand banna hai. And this is so long back.
Yeah, brand banna hai. And also you mentioned that, you are Karkhana, aap usme the. When all your competitors were importing Nina, you concentrated only on the made in India part. So what was the reason behind that?
Rula do gaye aise questions.
Thoda role in it.
I just met Modi ji at the Delhi
nice.
Global Summit ET last week, and really when he spoke, a couple of my team members were also there, and my CFO was like, I felt like saying Bharat Mata ki Jai. So it's always been like that for me. Our Guruji always taught that you do something to contribute. You don't think of your small pains, but you think of the larger gains for the country and stuff like that. And I went to China many times, and it's like ye 12 piece, ye 200 piece, ye 500 piece, and the pricing is so sexy. I mean, and no one, handbag ho ki gadgets ho, we know we can't beat their pricing. But somewhere I always felt that I'm not an Atankvadi. If I want to work, I have to work for my country. Otherwise, I'm not interested in working. ठीक है, घर में बैठ के कुछ और करेंगे.
Excellent. Can we play the Baguette ad of Made in India?
ये कहानी है छोटे से गांव की एक लड़की की जिसके सपने
Not
बड़े
this one.
उसने मेहनत
Hold on.
कामयाबी पाई अवार्ड्स भी
The next one, please. And we'll come to this ad also. Apologies.
और आई
This is the Tapsi Pannu ad. This is our latest one. We will show you the Made in India ads, because at the COVID time we knew, maybe we can turn the emotions and the sentiments of customers also to understand that Made in India zaruri hai.
Unique value proposition. Yeah.
Hey, how's this? Nice, but you can't have it.
क्यों?
क्योंकि I have the same bag.
Excuse me, I'll take this one.
Hey, hello? Dude, this is the same color, same pattern.
Same country?
What?
तेरा बैग भी मेड इन इंडिया है. ये भी अपनी इकोनॉमी को हेल्प करता है. नए जॉब्स क्रिएट करता है क्या? नहीं? तो फिर कैसे हुआ सेम टू सेम?
By Indian, built India, Baguette.
है क्या नहीं यूनिक? है क्या नहीं यूनिक? Yes or no? So it's not about that, but yes, we all have to search our unique value proposition, and Nina has got that right here with this piece of Made in India. There is one more thing, since we played the Tapsi Pannu ad. This is another area that we wanted to discuss with Nina, and she is very, very passionate about women entrepreneurship and upliftment, etc. So we'll play this Tapsi ad also, and then we'll ask Nina about this ad and her
ये कहानी है छोटे से गांव की एक लड़की की जिसके सपने बड़े थे. उसने मेहनत की, कामयाबी पाई, अवार्ड्स भी जीते, और फिर शादी हुई और हुए जुड़वा बच्चे, और आई एक टफ चॉइस. ए, करियर छोड़कर बच्चे संभाले, या बी, पति बच्चे संभाले और वो करियर पे फोकस करे. आपके इस डिसीजन से इंडिया का एक ओलंपिक मेडल कम हो गया. क्योंकि ये कहानी है चैंपियन मेरी कॉम की। तो आइए आज एक प्लेज लेते हैं, अगर हम ही अपने सपनों का साथ छोड़ देंगे तो वो सपने सच कैसे होंगे।
Excellent, Nina. This campaign, inspires women to be resilient. Can you take us through? See, we can see the tears in her eyes. So please take us through this and your thought process behind it.
Yeah, I guess we were all grown up. I mean, at least in my era, we were grown up कि क्या करना है, रोटियाँ तो बनानी है, तेरे को क्या काम क्या करना है, If fail हो गई, तो I was allowed to go out and work. And I think I was the first woman in my entire family who went out as a woman to work. Going out to markets, buying materials was unheard of. And my mom gave me 7,000 rupees, but they kept saying, क्या करना है, शादी करनी है, But I think in today's world, I think we are all allowing our kids and our spouses to really live their dreams. And I think every woman has a right to live their dreams. And we all have so many dreams and so much excitement. And I think if the husbands and the sasumas help a little bit, I think we can all help in the economy.
Yeah, that's... So this is what, success is all about. Nina started with failure, but that was just the trigger, and it was never a failure. She was destined to do that, and she was determined. Her perseverance and passion has made all this, happen, the success and the numbers that you saw. Awesome.
This could just be the beginning.
Yeah, this is just the beginning. Well, I wanted to ask, Bala, you said 90% of your workforce is 70 to 80% of your workforce is women. And like when Nina did mention about this women entrepreneurship and follow your dreams, Bala also said that every, they get their women staff from the rural areas and villages, etc. And every woman out there has a dream. It's just that people don't have opportunities. I also personally believe that if you give opportunity to a person, he will or he may excel. But what is lacking is opportunity. And brands like yours are, giving that opportunity. So why that 70% of women composition? Any particular reason also for that? Because in 3 years' time you said they leave. So I want to know what is the strategy or uniqueness behind this?
I would not call it a strategy, it is just evolved over a period of time.
Okay.
When we started in the early stages, all the employees used to live in the same house as in the shop. Above the shop in the terrace, there should be a kitchen, mom cooks and serves for the employees and the team members. And as the store kept on growing in size, we had a central kitchen and we employed people from neighborhood. But the customer was coming very early in the morning and customer was also coming late in the evening. And people coming from nearby, they wanted to come at a particular time only. So that particular time slot, people were taken on board. But at the same time, who could stay with us and work the kind of time that we open around 8:30 in the morning, some stores open at 9. But we want the team to be there 15 minutes earlier. So to do that particular process, when we looked at it from where we hailed from, south of Tamil Nadu, from there lots of people, they send their children. We were talking to the headmen of each villages and they used to send. And once this particular girl gets married and she goes back, she will probably, the others in the village, they will see the lifestyle change of that particular family and they would probably get convinced to send the next set of children who used to come. Probably who are on their summer holidays, they would come and work little sometime, subject to that age limits which is acceptable. Then they spend some time, then again they go back and resume their studies and come back and join us. And then this particular rotation keeps happening. It's just an evolution. People were coming from all parts of, now they come from all parts of India. Predominantly, initially it used to be only southern Tamil Nadu, but now we have people from other states also, from different backgrounds coming. And the biggest thing is about tech. The back end is completely tech oriented, lots of government structural changes that is bringing in, which is making business easy. Many people who come, they also guide us. There have been instances where people say, people harass us, but actually in disguise there are many people who come to guide us also. They say, go for this should make your life easy, you don't have to be answerable. So those kind of scenarios make us to adopt technology like SAP, We completed SAP B1. B1 could not handle our volume, so we migrated to S4 HANA now. This complete backend tech inventory is managed by people who are probably out of the entire team, 85% to 90% are 95% are school dropouts or probably just completed schooling. They are not having any graduation background also, but they handle the reports, MIS, the insights, IoT, we use IoT also, all those things these people handle because they are not conditioned. When you go to a school or a college, you're conditioned to do only this. So when we have some graduates who say, no, this मैं ये पढ़ाई नहीं किया, मेरे को मालूम नहीं, ये काम नहीं करूँगा. But here they're looking for opportunities. They say, you think I can do, so I will do. That's the kind of energy that you have.
Excellent. 90% of the women force who is school dropout is handling the tech part of Sarvana stores. Now this is exciting. I don't have to be an IIT or a person from a big engineering college to manage that. And this is a live example. That's what, training and an organizational culture like yours, which is, I feel, one of the unique value proposition for the brand success of Super Savana stores. With this, I would like to come to Gunjan. Gunjan, what would be, your challenges, or can you give an example of the biggest challenge that you have overcome, from a brand perspective? And you can give us any one of the brands and how you have, transformed. Because we would like to, since Bata has, and we saw so many brands that you have, you can take the Hush Puppy one also, and how you transformed, or you can take any other brand that you have transformed, and make it. Because see, initial years, over the decades, like 100-year-old brand, and shoes means Bata, but then each brand has its own positioning. Today we have seen that it is positioned at various levels, for every segment you have got something. But can you give one case study or an example for transformation?
No, so I think while I talked about the Bata banner itself,
Yes,
right, which I
yes.
talked about, right, what I can touch upon is there are multiple challenges. There are always going to be challenges, right? If you want to, okay.
It has to be, yeah.
Okay, they agree.
Otherwise, we are
for
not
sure.
in business,
Right, and the root of all these challenges, right, in my view is the consumer, because the consumer is moving. The consumer is seeing so many things, she's seeing stuff, her expectations are moving, they want better, they want cheaper, they want, the best in class, they want the best in class designs, etc. And their access to media is so much, and that change is what drives, in the end, all our challenges, right? Whether it be competitive, whether it be in terms of our own internal challenges or otherwise. So one of the things that we had was basically that we did see during this entire piece of COVID, etc., we did see, and I'll obviously there were many challenges, right? But I'll talk from a brand perspective. We saw a significant shift happening in terms of casualization and sneakerization of footwear consumption. Right, so a lot of natural consumption moved towards it, and what we could also sense while COVID faded away, right, about a year back, etc., right, we sense that a lot of this consumption shift from a consumer perspective is there to stay, right? So you will find people finding more and more occasions to maybe even wear, casual shoes to boardrooms. Right, and the more you go down the age strata, the more you will see this propensity for that. And therefore, the question for us was that what do we do in this, right? And therefore, we had to basically rehaul, and a part of the entire piece was obviously the entire portfolio. Now, almost 60 to 70% of the range that you see in a Bata store is casual or informal, right, across ladies and gents. Right, and that's a big change that we had to do vis-a-vis, let's say, about 40% earlier or 35% earlier. So you had to junk a lot of your other styles, you had to bring in new stuff, and these are, at times these are decisions that have to be taken. But the other piece that is there was this entire thing of associating and creating a space in sneakers, and which is where we ran this, what you saw, this clip, but this campaign continues. We created this platform almost about 15 months back, which is Sneaker Studio. What we wanted to offer to consumers was that we are offering you, usage occasions, pricing, across basically styles, you will see a combination of options being available. And we are one place where you will get all of it. You might have one place where you need get outdoor, you might have one place where you get sports, but you want lifestyle, you want casual, you want outdoor, you want running, all of it together, this is the place to come. And that was the core concept behind what it ran. Then obviously making sure that you've got that kind of styles. Now we've got these kind of sneaker studio walls in almost 300 plus stores now in 15 months. And the results are there to be seen. Now sneakers is growing significantly for us. And it is also now added almost some 500 basis points on margins also, because you can now charge the kind of premium on it.
Excellent. Very well articulated, Gunjan. I would, paucity of time, because of that, I would like to ask the final questions. Many of us are retailers. Does anybody has any question? Because I want to ask the last question to our panelists, because what is your mantra, success mantra for building a powerful retail brand? Before that, is there, okay, can we have the mic, please? Yeah.
Hello, this is Shilpi from Fiber to Fashion, and this is from Mr. Shah, of course. Well, we would like to know that what is the current ratio of fabric footwear versus the leather footwear, and moving on, what are you doing to increase the demand for it? Because you said that you have casuals, you have footwears for even the aged people. So that is the reason I'm asking you this.
So I don't know whether the audio was clear, but what you're asking is what is the ratio and what are we taking it forward?
To increase the demand of fabric footwear.
Casual versus formal. Is that what you asked?
No, the fabric versus leather.
Oh, fabric versus leather. Oh, okay. All right. Actually, leather has significantly diminished, Shilpi, over a period of time, right? For many reasons, right? So leather, the core leather making itself is significantly, while there is a lot of work that industry has done, right? But the tanneries, etc., is very polluting kind of a space, right? They have done a lot of work to make sure that you are, that water neutral, you recycle it, etc. But still, it's a very disaggregated industry, and I'm sure she also knows a lot of it, right? So leather as a material per se has significantly come down over the last 2-3 decades, I would say. Right. My sense is that right now in our consumption of overall basket, because even this shoe might not be necessarily leather completely, right? So you'll have a sole which is different, etc., etc. But broadly, I would say it's not more than about 10-12% of our consumption of raw materials. So, I mean, I think it's slowly moving towards there. There are other benefits, right? That the other materials give you much better, I think, scalability. There is much better durability at times. There is much better breathability, right? So comfort and also I think efficient also at times. So that's how it stands. Yeah.
Okay, so my last question is your views on, and we can do it succinctly. We'll start with Gunjan because Mike is with you only. How to build, how to build, because the retailers out here would like to know your success mantra to build a successful retail brand. So Gunjan, what is your view on that?
It's a very global question to give succinct answer.
But
I would say, I think sorry.
Yeah, please. Huh? Please carry on.
Okay. No, so it's a very overarching question, right? And I would, I think the core remains that if you are not connected with the consumer, you will not remain how do you say, a relevant brand today, tomorrow, and day after. So staying relevant and therefore everything else that it implies, right, is the core. And that is my
staying
mantra
relevant,
that I would like to believe in and hopefully live with also.
Yes. Bala.
We want money from the human being, as in people.
Yes.
We want money. The reason why as retailer and brands and service providers and the product innovators, end of the day, we want to see revenue, and the revenue is coming from people. And to win, establish customer relationship with that people and do it our way, do it the Indian way. Indianize the offering. जिसका भाषा में बात करेंगे उनको समझ में आएगा, आराम से वो उनको दिल तक पहुंचेगा, उस तरह बात करना है. I was talking to many of the stalls, couple of them, and they said we are not able to reach you. And this has happened in many forums. We say every time somebody is coming, we just have one request. Please don't mind.
Okay.
For corporate forums, this is perfectly okay. For boardrooms, perfectly okay. But get on to the ground and talk to them in their language and connect so that they don't think that you're coming to just take their time and take their money out of the retailers or the brands or the people who are going to use your services. Roll up your sleeves, get down onto the ground, talk to the influencing team in the team. First get them convinced, because once they are convinced, they are going to convince the owner. In one of the sessions in BCG,
Yeah.
I think he hit it on the nail, hit it on the bullseye. He said, let's make, if the boss is not convinced, don't even attempt that innovation. So building that customer relationship on the ground is going to be very, very important, because we want the money from the people. Let us not treat them as numbers. And there are umpteen number of global players who have come, who have disappeared also. And there are people from whom we learn. And how do you do a store layout? How do you make the product accessible? We learn from them. And there we have an industry doyen from Vivek & Co. We learn from him. And we learn from Venugopalji on the Naidu Hall part. How do you handle the lingerie? So we have a founder here. The franchisee route. Every franchisee, she will have somebody going and talking on her behalf with a suit boot to a tier 2, tier 3 audience, gets that guy convinced or her convinced. She is also very happy, bought in the franchisee, but she does not spend, he or she does not spend more than 10% of their time in making it success. Do 10x of what she is doing to make that franchisee successful. That way, you will also be successful as a when you take that franchisee option, and you will also make her win more. And that way, you will motivate more. So here, as founders, many founders, they are putting their heart and soul out. When I was asking about this event, they say, we are still a baby. What is Madurai? It was just a test marketing for us. Because tier 2, tier 3 markets.
6 lakh square foot test marketing.
And actually speaking, tier 2, tier 3 is the market, and we seeing what's happening. And there, the customers don't have places to park. They have big cars, like every other city, but unfortunately, they cannot take their big vehicles to the marketplaces in that city. We are not in the city. In the Madurai, we are outskirts of Madurai, and all over from other parts of Tamil Nadu, it is just 1 hour drive for anyone. Because thanks to Government of India and structural changes that they are bringing in, infrastructure changes that they are bringing in, it is helping. So win the customer, go to the ground, build the relationship, treat people as people and not as numbers is the winning formula I think we have. And when a brand, when he wants to offer a discount, when she wants to offer a discount, it's saying without cash burn only that offer is being given. Don't dictate saying, don't do that. We have enough and we are giving it to the end customer. We are not trying to do it to damage somebody. We have sufficient, so we are giving it to the customer. That is how it is treated. And we don't follow somebody else. Our competition is ourselves yesterday. So just update ourselves, keep ourselves updated, keep moving, and we will definitely win. And there's a huge opportunity. And I am talking on behalf of everybody from that part of the world where they have, it is not us who have big stores, everyone there has this model. Yes. So, thank you.
Thank you. Nina, your final views, please.
Yeah, so I think it's just, for me, it's follow your dreams. If you want to start a business of your own, do what your heart really asks for. Put down your vision, live it, and it'll happen, and you can also create a 300 crore business, just like how I have, even though I'm a failure in college. But I think when you visualize things, you can manifest things, and if your heart really wants to do that, because a business is like 365 days, you know, it never stops, your mind never stops thinking. So if you want to do something, then take up a business. Yeah.
Okay, so with this we come to an end of the very insightful session. Just to sum up the success here, I can see only 4 or 5 of them, but this is the core, and I really mean what I say, and that is consumer connect. Connect with your consumer, online, offline, omni, whatever way it is. Stay relevant. Your business, your products, your services have to be relevant. Because even if you are connected to your customer, if you are not relevant in your products and services, you will be out of the game. And customer relationship. So once you connect, once you are relevant, then please create that relationship with your customer. And we have got all the tech tools, but what we heard from Mr. Bala here is there are non-tech tools also, and that is Indianness. Okay, that is one-to-one communication, that is trust. All this will also help you build your unique value proposition. And last but not the least, what Nina said is follow your dreams and be passionate and persevere to achieve those dreams. And I think we'll have a success like a Nina Reiki or a Super Savannah Stores, and obviously the iconic brand Bata. With this, I thank all 3 of you for making this presentation, a panel discussion, very insightful. And thank you, audience, for being such a lovely audience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for the entire panel. And let's have a round of applause for you as well. I think you'll have been an absolutely amazing audience. Can we have the mementos on stage? I'll request Dr. Hitesh Bhatt to kindly present mementos to each of the panelists. In the meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, remind you once again that we are live on YouTube. So remember, you're being watched by the rest of the country and probably the world as well. So do tell your colleagues in office and your organizations to also log in and share in the excitement of Retail Leadership Summit. Thank you once again, Dr. Hitesh Bhatt, Mr. G.P. Balakrishnan, Mr. Gunjan Shah, and Ms. Neena Lekhi. That was an absolutely riveting session. Please do also post your photographs and your various comments. Use the hashtags hashtag Retail Leadership Summit 2023, hashtag RLS 2023, hashtag event, hashtag summit, hashtag leadership, hashtag retail event, hashtag retailers, hashtag brand, and many more. And if you're writing an article, do start writing that article, which could be published in the next edition, the RLS special edition of Story.